Y'all. If you here for the bonus, we really appreciate you coming through, because we was talking about women and their gates and covering themselves. Who the hell left the gate open?
Are we talking about Narnia? Or are we talking about Game of Thrones? Which one of these kingdoms we dealing with right now?
What we dealing with, honestly, is the kingdom of God.
Okay.
And we mean that in the deepest ways
The most
possible.
serious.
Yeah, because when we're talking about our kingdom, and Sister High Heels, she been dropping jewels. She been hitting the nail on the head.
Oh yeah,
she been cooking.
Too. It's reintroduced real quick.
Well, this is Dark Shining Light. Tim Hargrove.
We go. I got your theme song. That's gonna be your theme song. You know what it is? Soul Glow.
Oh, just let your soul glow.
So that's gonna be his theme song for me. So it's Dark Shining Light. It's Brother Yusuf Muhammad Yam's creation. I am what I am, Papa baby. And then Sister.
Peace and blessings, beautiful people. It's the Sister High Heels. Not for the shoes, but for the healing of energy, the teleportation of higher vibrations.
I just got that, honestly. I've seen this name 50 million times, and I'm just feeling this one. Okay, cool. So Tim gonna roll back.
Y'all got to keep up. Y'all niggas slow, man.
Hey,
get it.
People do that all the time with that name, all the time. Like, I had this one brother come up to me one time, and he was like, I always wondered, like, why would someone name themselves out of an inanimate object? And I was like, no, it's heals, like HEALS, because I'm a healer.
Get your mind right.
And but his mind was blown. He was like, yo, I follow you and been following you for years. Like, why did I never realize that?
Never read it, really.
Yeah,
Like, I'm reading it, but I ain't
the brain.
reading it.
The brain just automatically, when you see high heels, you automatically put 2 E's because that's how we work.
See, that's why we read.
Right.
No, but it's
the
great.
name of thy Lord.
But honestly, it's great that you talked about that. Is because we were talking before about people think they know you, but they really don't.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't understand how deep it goes, and it's right in front of your face.
Yeah, that's actually something that I don't know if I'm supposed to go on this topic, but
Let's
that's
go.
something that I deal with a lot and that's why I haven't really let go of high heels, because when I say it, I usually get a negative response from certain types of women.
Yeah.
Like, they look at me like, and then they see the tattoos. I used to have a septum ring. So then like, oh, she's a fruitcake. And I have locks. You just can't see them now. So I would get written off as being stupid or being an airhead. And then when they have a conversation, they're like, oh, wow, you actually are intelligent. Like, yeah, I went to UCLA. Like, I'm not dumb. It's just that you assumed, one, because of the name.
What do you do when you assume? Make an ass out of you and me. Most of you, though.
Yeah, exactly. Totally you. You know what I'm saying? But so, yeah, that name, it holds a lot of weight for me because I love that idea. It's a lesson. Like, don't assume anything. Don't put a label on it. And if you understood why I'm high heels, you would understand why that's powerful. But for me to explain it all the time, I shouldn't have to. Like, you shouldn't meet people like
listen
that.
to you on this. That's far for us has been very profound for me. Like, I've known you for a while, but this is definitely the idea that we need to understand that a book and its cover are 2 different things. Yeah. You can look at the book and be like, oh, this is going to be whatever. But once you start reading it and getting an understanding of it, it's like, I'm here. Like, Message to the Black Man. It's a book that I've seen so many people think it was a racist understanding of whatever the messenger put out. And they read the book and like, damn, brother, this is actually thought-provoking. Yes, it's a breakdown and the understanding of why this message was given to us, why the Nation of Islam was developed, why we asked what we asked for. It's not us just being racist and not us being separatists in our own way. It's that in order for the people to develop and grow, you first got to close off a door and go into the house.
Exactly.
You can't heal if you stand in a place that hurt you.
Yeah.
So at some point, I have to separate and be like, all right, well, look, no disrespect. Black folks, y'all need to go over there. Indians, y'all go over there. Spanish folks, y'all go over there. White folks, y'all do what y'all want to. Y'all go over there. But when you go into your house, have that real conversation. Yeah. It's like what mama used to say before you go over to your house. Now, look, We going over here. Don't act like I ain't feed you before you acting here. You ain't spending the night and you ain't getting no candy. You ask me, I'm gonna beat your ass. That's the kind of conversation we need to have with ourselves when we separate and say, hey, look, your children baby kids. And the reason why society is messed up is because these black kids have not been there. Let's go back a little further. The reason why the black society is messed up is because your ass ain't been taking care of your responsibilities as a black man. Take your butt home.
Yeah.
Your son, not everybody, your son is the gang leader who's caused all these problems. And if you go deal with your son, it'll trickle down to everybody else. But your behind out here playing around doing what the hell you want to, getting everybody else pregnant because you don't want to do what you're supposed to do. Yeah. So when we start having these real conversations, like this, what Kocktails Konversations is about, we get past the layers of onions of BS. And what we're dealing with tonight is my sister healing. And I love the fact of your name because, again, we all really need to heal. And the healing starts with self-development. Self, however you want to put this word, we need to go back at home and say, hey, look in the mirror, strip down, butt naked, and had a real conversation. This muffin top ain't cute. We making it cute by calling the fupa and there. It's fat. You need to lose it. That's why you're not growing. That's why your health is messed up because you're not being real with the self. And this is where we are right now.
And you know what? I want to speak on something because I love the fact that you said, having to explain it. And a lot of times when we look at ourselves, the first thing we need to do is we need to love God's creation. And when we can love the essence of ourselves, we see the things that don't belong. And a lot of times it's not just physical. A lot of times we know that there are certain vices that we need to let go. A lot of times we know that there are certain habits that we need to let go. And those will physically change you. If you know you're not eating right and you're looking at your skin and you go, okay, well, what can I do to better myself with who I am so I can optimize myself? When you're looking at your teeth, when you're looking at your hair, the other thing is you'll tend to look at your surroundings. And when people meet up on the surface, I'm not a surface level person. So if a person meeting me and they can't get beyond the surface, that's a great thing. Because the person that we are, if you're a person of depth and character, look, the mountaintop is not given to the person who can walk in the valley. It's the person who can climb, right? Same thing to the diver. You can't get the buried treasure if you're not willing to dive deep. So when someone dismisses you, that's God's way of saying that they shouldn't be there.
Exactly.
If they're not willing to dive deep, then isn't that great that you don't have to waste your time?
Right.
Isn't that great when you can really see yourself and you're in the mirror and you're saying, well, thank you, Lord, because I thought that I was okay.
Say that again.
You can see yourself.
No.
Go,
that one part. Thank you, Lord.
Thank you.
We do not say that.
Yeah.
We become upset with God because he removed that person out your life.
Yeah.
Right.
I've seen so many people become upset. But God, I love them. They were supposed to be, but God knew what you knew not.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing, we always do the biggest thing. One thing that I had to learn in self-development was that, going back to the question of what we always say, God, what is it you want me to do? I had to also learn, let your will be done, not mine. Because your will is what's getting me moving to where I need to go.
Yeah.
So that person, as they say, some people are meant to be in your life for a season. That is it. Now, a season is not always 3 months. A season may be 5 years. But the season may be the growth and development that you need. And after that, that person is then an anchor. It's like cooking. We talk about seasoning all the time here. But the thing about seasoning is what? After you've cooked it and you put the right seasoning on it, you can't cook it too much longer. You got to take that off.
Yeah.
You like that steak, but if you leave that steak on that grill too much longer, it's going to burn.
Yeah.
And that person in your life is that furnace with you. But after a while, let me get a better version of the cooking. Everybody know what Thanksgiving. And everybody know that you see mom in the kitchen cooking 5 dishes at one time. Mm-hmm. But what stays in the oven the longest? Mm-hmm. That turkey. Mm-hmm. That dressing to go in there for an hour. The macaroni and cheese might be 30 minutes. See, I can't cook.
I'm like...
that don't sound right. See, that's why you're not in the kitchen.
That's why you need a wife to cook.
Right. I can do something, but I ain't scientist.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
So the thing is that right. Everything is in there for a certain time.
Yeah.
Then it comes out.
We got you.
And then once it comes out, it's perfect. Mm. That person in your life. Thank you, God. I had to learn this because I dealt with death for a number of years. People were dying constantly around me, and I was sad and everything. But one minister told me is that, Brother Yusuf, people have a season in life. And we're here for a reason. And once that person has accomplished their reason in life, they're no longer needed. So God takes them away from them. If they're here any longer, it becomes a problem. So that person that you are in love with, your grandmother, your mother, that minister, Dr. King, all these people did a job for a reason until a time. And when they died, they left a stamp and a marker that was bigger than them. Yeah. And then they left.
Sister Holly Hills, as a woman, like, what are the women that you admire? And
come on,
when we talk about like with development, because you're a woman of character. Mm-hmm. It's a 2-part question. How have you developed yourself? Mm-hmm. And what women have you admired that you may have been an influence or a guiding light?
Well, the woman that I had to admire the most was myself.
Oh, awesome!
So because I've becoming high heels came from me having to pull myself up out of depression, out of grief, out of PTSD, and because I found my mother dead in 2012. So it killed me. But I had to figure out how to live. I had to figure out, okay, like, what is the blessing in this, And once you keep finding the blessing in everything in life, then you start realizing the blessing in yourself. I started realizing, like, if I wasn't there to find her dead, she would have been there for, like, Lord knows how long. Yeah. Like, if I wasn't there, the last word she heard was me and my kids telling her I love her. So I started to see the blessing in myself. So then after watching myself pull myself out of there with God, like I look up to myself, and it's not an arrogant thing. It's just saying that I have to see the growth in me. I have to understand I have power, I have intelligence, I have patience, I have tenacity. And the women that I would say that I looked up to when I was younger, I looked up to people like Debbie Allen because I used to be a dancer, but I was a heavier set girl. I wasn't good technically. And when I seen Debbie Allen, she doesn't have a typical dancer body. She's not tall. She doesn't have long legs. Back then, you had to be tall and have long legs. She was the first Black female to play a Latin character in West Side Story. Like, you couldn't play with Debbie Allen. I had teachers that came up under her. You better sweat. You better be sweating after we got the first stretch going on. Like, what you doing? So it's a lot of work. So the type of woman that I admire are women that are tenacious, that they break molds. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the type of woman that I am. Another woman that I'll say that I look up to is Dr. Ava Muhammad, okay?
Yes.
The reason why is because, Mother Tayanetta influenced me a lot as far as her study of the metaphysics and bringing it to the teachings. But when you look at Dr. Ava Muhammad, this is the first female to ever be over a mosque in all of Islam. Okay, not just the Nation of Islam, but all of Islam. And before I came to the Nation, my preconceived notion, which is an incorrect notion, but my preconceived notion is that, okay, these are housewives, but I'm not a housewife. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a boss. Yeah. You know what I mean? Right. And Dr. Ava was a boss, but she was still a feminine woman, and she had the support of her husband. But that's the type of women that I admire. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the type of woman that I am, that I've created myself to be. And it's not about money. It's not about your career. It's just about your power within yourself. You know, your ability to pull the best part of yourself out and to break molds. I'm not going to be what you think I am. Yeah, you thought I was shoes. No, bruh, I'm not some shoes. You know what I'm saying? It's something a lot more powerful than that.
Exactly.
So those are some of the women that I admire, but I admire myself the most.
I mean, it's amazing to hear. In the last episode, we talked about the masses and versus the person who is exceptional. Mm-hmm. And I notice a correlation between yourself and exceptional because you have a knowledge of self. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is you have a knowledge of what goes on around you in the past, present, and future, right? Mm-hmm. When we look at a person, right, they have to know themselves. If you talk to the general public, they will give you characters like, oh, I admire Claire Huxtable. It's not real.
Not real.
Right.
I admired Uncle Phil. It's not real.
That's right.
Oh, I admire this rapper. It's not real. Mm. Well, my Instagram post, shit, that ain't real. Let's be honest.
Let's be 100, brother.
Let's keep it all the way 100.
Yes.
And the thing is, we say, oh, we'll keep it real and all of this other stuff, but how many of us are authentic? Mm. Because one thing that I had to love about myself was my flaws, right? And my flaws were actually my strengths because they weren't flaws. When I looked at what my strengths were, God showed me, hey, you have this thing and I put it in you for a reason. And I had to learn how to use those. I had to learn how to use my temper. Because I used to like fighting bullies. I ran with a crew and y'all know how we do. Look, if we catch you being on one, we will pull you up out your bed. We will pull your ass up out your bed. We catch you want to rob and okay, my hand is broken now from all of those battles. But the other thing is I had to learn that there is a purpose for everything, right? Mm. And I couldn't be afraid of my anger. I had to learn how to use it. Because if there was something that was incorrect, I had to make it right. But the thing is, I had to be angry, but sin not. A lot of us have things that are an attribute. And when you're not complete, I noticed that the incomplete person has not accepted themselves fully.
Mm. So let me, I love this. So my brother says that he loves his flaws. Let me add something to that in the fact that I hate when I see, it's women in particular, when they get upset and he gotta love me for me because I'm me. You know, you heard it BS before. Yeah. So that's not acceptable. The acceptable part of what you just said is that when you accepted your flaws and understood self and why you're doing them and how they're going to create and develop you. Mm. This accept me for me BS is that, well, I'm just loud and obnoxious and he needs to accept that. No one wants to deal with that in their life. Mm-hmm. And how is that helping you because you're being loud and obnoxious? Yeah. That is not cool. Now, if you're saying you had an anger problem, but you understood that was there to help you develop this over here. Now I'm in the army, I could put this towards something. But then what I could also do is I can teach other brothers who have the same issues. This is how you deal with this, brother. Yeah. This is how you put yourself in check. Use that energy. Use your energy. Yeah. It's an energy. It's like when we do martial arts, Muay Thai and Taekwondo, whatever ones that we're dealing with, is that the energy as you're taking it and sending it back to them. Mm-hmm. So you don't always have to hit a person. You can use their own energy and flip them over.
You better speak on it, Jedi Master.
Come on, Luke Skywalker. So the whole thing is just that we have to know and accept self. Yeah. Mm. And in doing that, it helps you grow and develop. But going back to the original topic of these modern women, and see, I love how we always walk in circles. Going back to the modern world, the modern women, the modern everything, is that in this modern society, we ain't accepting who we are right now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We're going off what someone else. Let me give the best example right now. It's my sister transitioning into Islam. Yes. And she's being the freedom to wherever and do whatever she wants to now having structured discipline laws. And we are dealing with the love of self and going back to the modern woman and everything. I'm still dealing with that, but I was dealing with how fashion is the biggest example of someone telling you what is acceptable.
Yes.
We went from wearing these big ass baggy clothes 10 times our size in the 2000s. You walking around looking like you got on a blanket because their jacket's so big. Your pants just huge, 3 times your size because someone said that was cool in the fashion industry.
Yeah.
Then we went from being oversized to now you're wearing jeans that is tight enough that you can see
your shape. Ain't that what Trick Daddy? You can see your shape.
You can see your blood veins in your legs. Like, brother, come on. So, all because what? Someone said this is what's cute. Sisters went from wearing fashionable clothes in the 70s and 80s, dressing like business women. Then in the 90s, they became this cute version. I actually like the 90s cute that we had, 2000 cute. And then now, you're almost naked wearing them around. Like, the big issue that I don't like is these bikinis. Like, they went from the wide, like, draws, almost, granny panties.
Shorts even, the shorts.
Yeah. I'm talking about now, but still with bikinis. Now it's a straight line right down the middle of the bikini. Okay. The booty shorts went from just cut little tight shorts. Now they're open and you're showing the crotch. But why? Because this is the modern woman and we can do what we want to. But who formed this outline of the modern man and woman?
Yeah.
Accepting self.
Yeah.
When you accept yourself, you say, I got more value than that. I don't need this man to see me just because someone else said it was cute. I don't need this woman to be looking at my body parts just because everyone said it was cute. I don't have to go buy Balenciaga just because everyone is saying it's nice. No disrespect to any title, any form, whatever you are. I'm not denoting or taking anybody down. It's just, why are you wearing it? Is the question we want to get at.
Let's go with a final question from our special guest.
Let's go.
As a woman that is transitioning and a woman that's developing themselves, what's one of the most important things as a woman who is, in business, a woman who is out there in the world, but not of the world?
Come on.
The most important thing that I've learned is to have not just knowledge of self, but to be, I'm trying to think of like the most profound, to learn how to stand on your square, period.
Come on, talk about them fights.
Like, period. Yeah. Because like, just on a personal note, I had so many opportunities in 2020, or 2022 that I passed up because all of it involved me being more sexual or being sensual. I had somebody offer me a segment on their morning show, was going to pay me just to come on and do a 15-minute segment. But I said no because the man asked me, do I mix business with pleasure? And you have to stand on your square. Yeah. Like, that's it. And you have to understand that whatever plan Allah God has for you is the plan. Exactly. Whatever these other people is putting in your face that's Satan's world. And, let me take it outside of talking so spiritual and let's just make it plain. Yeah. Whatever you decide for yourself, you have to stick to that because people going to try to throw you into their world. You can't be moved to their world. Yeah. Stay on your square and don't compromise yourself because everybody compromises themselves to get success. And I feel like compromising, how much are you going to do that? Because pretend that I decided to be more sensual. Pretend that I decided to be the sex symbol, right? And then people hated it. That wasn't who I was. Yeah. So now you hated me for someone I was pretending to be. Like, I would rather you just not like me for being myself.
Come on,
you know what I'm saying?
Come on.
Yeah. So I'll say that that's the biggest thing is stay on your square. Know who you are. And now I know who I am. I know what I want to present. I know who I want to be in this world and stay on that. Don't let nobody move you or sway you, because you're going to go where you're supposed to go anyway, And I'm
loving that.
And I'm going to go a little bit more on what you just said. When you are in the alignment with God, I think I can't remember who in the Bible, when it speaks about the devil walking into the way of the man. He was supposed to be going somewhere, and the devil walks up and kind of offers him something else. The same thing with life. When you are being presented with the path that God wants you on, as they said, no weapon formed against me will prosper. But they didn't say no weapon will not form against you.
Right.
Something's going to come up.
Yeah.
So when it forms, that's your test. In order to get to the next level, God's going to test you, see, are you ready? You're a Sister High Heels transitioning into Sister, you were Golda transitioning to Sister Golda. And then you're transitioning, period, into the
Golda
MGT, Sister Golda X. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah.
And in your transitioning, the world is being offered to you.
Yes. Yes.
And do you want the world or do you want God?
Right.
If you want the world, as we're reading our Quran, God will give you everything. You can have all the world.
Yes.
But that's a limited time. God's is infinite.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you want what he has for you, abide your time.
Yeah.
You keep moving. He's going to give you everything. And it's going to be more successful and better than what you ever thought it would be.
Yeah.
This trinket over here that's being tested with you ain't worth nothing that it's going to be did. Because as you just said, if you'd have took that position and people would have hated you, they'd have hated you because something that you were pretending to be and not hating you for you.
Yes.
I'd rather you hate me for my authenticity than
Yes.
something that I'm not.
Yes.
So as we're on our developmental train, always remember, stay focused. What's for you is going to come in due time.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, Brother Tim.
You mind if I say one?
Oh, go,
thing?
sister.
No,
Go
go
ahead.
right ahead.
I love that you noticed that distinction, that as I was on my journey to becoming an MGT, all of those things came to my forefront.
I was going to come again some more, sister.
It was
yeah.
like, but I just have to say, I'll be remiss if I don't say this. I just have to shout out Rich Mo from Black Ink Radio, because why I love him so much is because when I decided to become an MGT, he was supportive. Like he didn't want me to change. He didn't want me to be more sexy or anything. He appreciated my change. And even to this day, like with my show, we're doing different things. Everything, he's like, whatever you want to do, let's do it. But don't change what you are, because it's special the way that you are.
Yeah.
I like that you cover. I like that you conservative. I like that, I was doing an event for Young Jock and them, and everybody is getting super lit. And I'm over there, I go
Drinking juice.
it's super lit. And but they all joking like, you're on the phone with Brother Minister, ain't you? Just chilling. But he's like, but I like that you do that. You know what I'm saying? You can come into the room and just be yourself. So I really appreciate him so much. And I appreciate Black Ink for that, because they like, just be you. You know what I'm saying? Don't change. And a lot of these people, you would think that they would be the ones telling me to change, but
You didn't tell everybody about you and your show. we introduced ourselves, but you said, I'm on Black Ink Radio. Right, yeah.
Go ahead
I
and
forgot,
throw it.
right? Yeah. So I have a show called Oracle Connect on Black Ink Radio. I also go out and do interviews, like at different red carpets, awards, and just events as High Heels representing Black Ink. Shout out to Rich Mo and C's at Black Ink Radio.
So what's your Instagram? How people see
my
you?
Instagram. So I need to really stop only doing my personal, but so my show's Instagram is Oracle Connect, ORACLE Connect. And then my Instagram for me is high_HEALS_111.
So
Yes.
with that, that's my sister, Brother Tim.
Yeah.
Final words, brother.
Yeah, I got just one thing, I think the whole thing really was based on what profit the man to gain the whole world
and lose his
and
soul.
to lose your soul.
We should have did the devil with that one.
But honestly, I love the fact that you came on, because it encourages somebody out there, whether they're young or old, or they're going through it or will go through, to honestly be yourself. Be the person that you were born to be. Be the person that you can look at in the mirror. And, he done got the seasoning salt. I'm going to let you close on
Go
out,
ahead.
brother.
I'm going to close it out with the one. Go ahead.
I'm done.
The most powerful phrase you will ever hear in your life And I will say it is the most powerful phrase you will ever hear in your life, because it will develop your mind every time you think about it. Accept your own and be yourself.
There you go.
With that being said,
Hey, you can sip on that.
you can sip that all the way to whatever place, destination you're going to, and fade yourself out for the night. With that being said, I'm Brother Yusuf Muhammad, Yam's Creation.
I'm Brother Tim Hartgrove, Dark Side of the Light.
Be easy, baby. This is Cocktails and Conversations. Thank you again, Sister High Heels, for joining us.
We really appreciate it.
We'll bring you back again. Be easy, baby. This is Yusuf Muhammad, Yam's Creation. This is Cocktails and Conversations that you're listening to. Tune in every Friday, 7 p.m. on all streaming platforms. Like, follow, share. Tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody. Look forward to you joining us.